Hello, friends. How are you all, friends? The topic of our story today is a very emotional topic. Today, we will talk about this topic. Before starting the video, if you are new to our YouTube channel, then subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon button so that you get our videos on time. So let's start the video. Life can change with just one letter. David Miller never knew he had a daughter. Tonight, his quiet life breaks open. It was a cold, rainy Thursday night. David Miller was sitting alone in his small apartment. The TV was on, but he wasn't watching it. His mind was heavy, like most days. Then, there was a knock at the door. He opened it and saw nothing, just a wet envelope lying on the floor. No stamp, no return address, only his name written in shaky handwriting. He felt something strange in his chest. He picked up the envelope and walked inside. The paper was soaked from the rain, but the words were still readable. He opened it slow. Inside was one single letter, and the moment he saw the handwriting, his heart nearly stopped. It was Emma's writing, the woman he loved 22 years ago, the woman who disappeared without a word. He began to read, "David, I am dying." The first sentence tore through him like a blade. His hands started shaking. Then came the line that changed his entire world. "You have a daughter. Her name is Lily." David froze. The letter slipped from his hand. His breath felt trapped in his chest. A daughter? After all these years? A child he never knew existed? He picked the letter again with trembling fingers. Emma wrote about her mistakes, her struggles, her shame, and how she hid Lily from him all these years. She wrote about foster homes, lost records, a life full of pain she could never fix. And then her final words, "Please, find her. She deserves to know who you are." David closed his eyes. Rain hit the window like soft knocks from fat. But he also felt something new, a spark of purpose. He looked at the bottom of the letter. Emma had left one clue, Willowbrook Shelter, file number L1997. It wasn't much, but it was a start. David grabbed his jacket. He didn't think, he didn't wait. He just moved. He stepped out into the rain. His clothes were soaked instantly, but he kept walking. Tonight, the search for his daughter had begun. David reached the Willowbrook Shelter in less than 20 minutes. His clothes were dripping. His hair was soaked, but he didn't care. The shelter looked old and tired, like a place where forgotten stories lived. A single dim light flickered above the entrance. David pushed the door open. The warm air inside felt strange after the cold rain. A woman at the front desk looked up. "Can I help you?" she asked. David swallowed hard. "Yes, I'm looking for a girl. Her name is Lily. I have a file number." He handed her the letter. The woman placed her glasses on and read it carefully. Her expression changed, not shock, but something close to concern. "File number L1997?" she repeated. David nodded. "Yes, I need to find her. It's important." She typed something into her old computer. The screen glowed on her face. Lines scrolled, pages loaded slowly. Then she stopped. Her eyes softened. "Mr. Miller, Lily isn't here anymore." David's heart dropped. He felt the air inside his chest collapse. "Where is she?" he asked, barely breathing. The woman hesitated. "She left the system 2 years ago." David felt a sharp pain inside him. "What does that mean?" The woman looked down. "She turned 18. She aged out of care. After that, we have no legal record of where she went." David closed his eyes for a moment. He tried to steady his breathing. A daughter he had never known, lost again. "Do you know anything?" he asked. "Anything at all?" The woman bit her lip. Then she reached for a dusty binder under the desk. "This is all I can give you," she said. "A copy of her last report. It's not much, but it's something." David opened the file slowly. Inside, there were only 3 pages. Page 1. Basic details. Lily Miller. Age 16 at the time. Quiet. Introverted. Struggled with abandonment issues. Page 2. A complaint report. She had run away twice. Both times found. Looking at the water. Alone. David felt a shiver run through him. Page 3. Her final note before leaving the system. I don't belong anywhere. I don't need anyone. I'll figure life out on my own. David stared at the words. His throat tightened. His chest burned. This was his daughter, hurting, lost, and walking through the world alone. The woman whispered, "There's one more thing." David looked up quickly. "What is it?" She used to visit a place often, a small cafe near Harbor Street. She never talked much, but she always sat in the same corner. David grabbed the clue like a lifeline. Hope flickered inside him again. "Thank you," he said softly. He walked back into the rain. His steps were faster now. His heart was heavier, but his purpose was stronger. Tonight, the trail had begun. David reached Harbor Street in the late evening. The rain had stopped, but the roads still glittered with water. The cafe stood on the corner, small but warm-looking. A neon sign buzzed softly, glowing pink. David opened the door. The bell above it chimed gently. Inside, the place smelled like coffee and warm pastries. Soft music played in the background. A young waitress walked toward him. She looked tired, but kind. "Welcome. Table for one?" she asked. David shook his head. "I'm actually looking for someone. Her name is Lily." The waitress froze for a moment. A tiny spark of recognition flashed in her eyes. "Lily? Dark hair? Quiet girl?" she asked. David's heartbeat jumped. "Yes, that's her." The waitress looked around the cafe. Then she pointed at a small corner table near the window. She used to sit right there, every week, same time, same drink. David walked toward the table slowly. His steps felt heavy. He touched the back of the CH. It felt warm, like it still held her presence. "What happened to her?" he asked. The waitress sighed. "She stopped coming about 6 months ago. No goodbye, no warning. She just vanished." David felt a cold grip on his heart. "Did she talk to anyone?" he asked. The waitress hesitated, thinking. "Only once. A man sat with her, tall, rough-looking. I didn't like his vibe." David's chest tightened. "Do you know who he was?" She shook her head. "No, but Lily seemed scared that day." David felt anger and fear mixing inside him. "Do you remember anything else?" The waitress nodded slowly. "She dropped something that day. I kept it in case she ever returned." She walked to the counter, opened a drawer, and handed him a small silver bracelet. David stared at it. A tiny charm hung from it, a letter L. "This belongs to her," the waitress said. She wore it every time, closed his fingers around it. His throat tightened. His daughter. She had sat in this corner. She had lived moments he never knew. He whispered, "Thank you, truly." The waitress gave him one more clue. She sometimes talked about a place, a shelter near the old train station. She said it felt safe there. David felt hope rise again. Another trail, another chance. He stepped out of the cafe. The night was darker now, but his purpose burned brighter. He was getting closer. The old train station stood silent. It hadn't seen a train in years. Only broken windows, graffiti, and the echo of forgotten footsteps. David walked toward the shelter beside it. A dim light flickered through the cracked glass door. Inside, a few people huddled on worn-out chairs. An older man looked up when David entered. His beard was gray, his eyes sharp. "You look lost," the man said. David sat beside him. "I'm looking for someone. Her name is Lily Miller." The man stared at him for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Yeah, I remember her. David's breath hitched. She used to sleep here sometimes, the man continued. Quiet girl, always kept to herself. David swallowed hard. Is she okay? Do you know where she is now? The man looked down at his hands. I don't know where she is now, but I know she wasn't okay. David felt a chill run through him. What happened? The man sighed deeply. She came here last winter, shivering, bruised, scared. David gripped the edge of his chair. Bruised? By who? The man looked him straight in the eyes. There was a guy, tall, loud, smelled like trouble. He used to follow her around. David's jaw clenched. He asked. The old man shook his head. Control, fear, something dark. David felt anger burning inside him. He wished he could go back in time. Protect her, hold her, be there. The man continued. One night, she asked me something. She said, "Do you think anyone would care if I disappeared?" David felt his heart shatter. His vision blurred with tears. What did you tell her? He whispered. The man's voice softened. I told her, someone out there cares. Maybe they just haven't found you yet. David closed his eyes tightly. Those words cut deep. The man added, her last day here, she left in a rush. She was crying. She said she needed to get away, far away. David opened his eyes. His voice cracked. Did she say where she was going? The man nodded. She mentioned a bus to North Pine City. Last bus of the night. David stood up immediately. Thank you for telling me. The man gave a faint smile. Find H. David stepped outside. The wind hit his face. Cold, sharp. But his determination was stronger. North Pine City, a new lead, a new hope. Tonight, he would not stop. North Pine City was bigger, louder, colder. Nothing like the quiet streets David knew. He walked down the crowded roads. Cars honked. People rushed past him. Neon signs flashed everywhere. David headed straight to the bus depot. He showed Lily's bracelet to the clerk. Have you seen this girl? He asked. The clerk looked at it carefully, then nodded slowly. She was here, a few months ago. She looked lost. David's chest tightened. What happened to her? The clerk pointed outside. She met someone, a woman in a red jacket, older, kind-looking. They talked for a long time. David listened carefully. Hope flickered again. Did the woman say anything? He asked. The clerk thought for a moment. She mentioned working at a youth center, something called Safe Haven Outreach. David wrote the name down immediately. This could be it, the biggest clue yet. He rushed toward the address. A small building stood at the corner of the street. Bright lights, warm atmosphere, posters of support programs on the door. He entered quickly. A lady at the front desk looked up. Can I help you? She asked gently. David took a deep breath. Yes, I'm looking for my daughter. Her name is Lily. The woman's eyes widened. She instantly knew the name. You're her father? She whispered. David nodded, his voice breaking. Yes, please. Is she here? The woman hesitated. Her eyes softened with empathy. She stepped closer. She's not here right now, she said softly, but she comes here often. David felt breath return to his lungs. His heart finally found a beat of hope. She's okay, he asked. The woman gave a small smile. She's been through a lot, but she's trying. She's trying very hard. David's eyes filled with tears. Please, when can I see her? He asked. The woman held his hand gently. If you wait, you might see her tonight. David sat down, hands shaking, heart racing. For the first time, he was close. So close. David sat in the quiet waiting area. His hands wouldn't stop trembling. He kept holding Lily's bracelet tightly. It felt like the only piece of her he had left. The clock on the wall ticked slowly. Minutes felt like hours. People walked in and out of the center, but none of them were Lily. A counselor walked past him. She smiled softly. "You're waiting for someone?" she asked. David nodded. "Yes, my daughter." The words still felt unreal. The counselor sat beside him for a moment. "She's a strong girl," she said, "but she's been hurt deeply." David lowered his head. "I should have been there," he whispered. "I didn't even know she existed." The counselor placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "What matters is that you're here now." Just then, the front door opened. A girl stepped inside, hood up, backpack on, wet shoes. David's heart jumped. It looked like her. The same height, same walk. He stood up slowly, but when the girl turned, it was... David sank back into his seat, his breathing shaky, his hope flickering but not gone. The receptionist walked toward him again. "She usually comes between 9 and 10, she said. "You're close, Mr. Miller." David nodded. He forced himself to stay calm. Tonight might change everything. It was almost 9:45 p.m. The center had become quieter. Only a few lights were still on. Then, the door opened softly. A girl walked in slowly. Dark hair, thin hands, tired eyes. David's breath stopped. It was her. He knew it instantly. A father always knows. Lily walked toward the counter. She didn't notice him. She looked exhausted, lost, like someone carrying invisible weight. David stood up. His legs felt weak. His heart pounded hard in his chest. He took one small step forward, then another. "Lily," he whispered. She turned slowly. Her eyes met his. Confusion filled her face. She didn't recognize him. Why would she? He wasn't part of her memories. "Yes?" she asked softly. Her voice was gentle, but guarded. David's throat tightened. His eyes filled with tears. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. I'm David," he finally said. His voice cracked. "I'm your father." Lily froze. Her eyes widened slightly. Her breath caught. She stepped back. Her face turned pale. "No," she whispered. "That's not possible." David raised the letter with shaking hands. "Your mother wrote this. She told me everything." Lily stared at the letter. Her eyes filled with emotional confusion, fear, shock, pain. She turned away, her shoulders trembling. I can't do this," she said softly. And before David could stop her, she walked out the door. David felt his world collapse, but he didn't chase her. He remembered the counselor's words. "She's been hurt. She needs care, not pressure." David stepped outside. The night air was cold. He looked down the street where she walked away. He whispered, "I'm not giving up, not again." Lily walked fast down the sidewalk. Her hands were shaking. Tears blurred her vision. She didn't want anyone to see her cry. David followed slowly, not too close, not too far, just enough to keep her in sight. He didn't want to scare her. He just didn't want to lose her again. Lily sat down on a bench near the street. She buried her face in her hands. Her breathing was uneven, broken, scared. David approached carefully. He kept his voice soft. "Lily, can I sit here?" he asked gently. She didn't look at him, but she didn't say no either. David sat at a distance, respectful, quiet. After a long silence, Lily spoke. Her voice cracked. "Why now? Why after all these years?" David swallowed hard. "Because I didn't know," he said. "If I had known, I would have been there. Every day." Lily wiped her tears. "You weren't there when I needed someone." David lowered his head. I know, and I'll live with that guilt forever. But if you let me, I want to be here now." Lily's eyes filled again. Her walls were up, but they were shaking. She stared at the bracelet in David's hand. Her bracelet. Her past. "How do I know you won't leave?" she whispered. David's voice broke. "Because losing you once was enough pain, foe." Lily looked away, but her breathing softened. Her shoulders relaxed slightly. She wasn't ready. Not yet, but she wasn't running anymore. For the first time, there was a small opening, a tiny bridge forming between them. Michael stood in the quiet hospital hallway, his palms sweating as he approached Emma's room. Every step felt heavier than the last. This wasn't just a visit. It felt like facing years of guilt all at once. Inside, Emma was awake, staring out the window, her breathing slow but steady. When she heard the door open, she didn't look back. She already knew it was him. Michael, softly. "Emma, I'm here." Emma closed her eyes, as if the voice reopened wounds she wasn't ready to face. "Emma, you're late. You always were." Her tone was calm, but it stabbed deeper than anger ever could. Michael stepped closer, his voice trembling. "Michael, I know. And you have every right to hate me. I left when you needed me the most. I can't change that. But I'm here now. For real. I'm not walking away again." Emma finally turned her head toward him. Her eyes were tired, wounded, fragile, but searching. "Emma, why now, Michael? Why do fathers come back only when daughters break?" Michael swallowed the knot in his throat. "Michael, because losing you is the one thing I can't survive." A tear slid down Emma's cheek, but she didn't wipe it. "Emma, you weren't there when Mom died. You weren't there when I cried alone. You weren't there for any part of my childhood." "Michael, I know, and I live with that every single day." A long silence sat between them, heavy but softening. Emma looked at the photo frame beside her bed, a picture of her as a child, alone. She held it out toward him. "Emma, do you even remember this day?" Michael took the frame with shaking hands. "Michael, yes, you were 6. You kept asking when I'd come home. I told you soon. I lied." Emma inhaled deeply. For the first time, she didn't look away. "Emma, then don't lie now. If you say you're staying, then stay." Michael nodded, tears finally falling freely. "Michael, I'm staying, Emma, no matter what." Emma slowly extended her hand, hesitant, trembling, but reaching. Michael held it gently, like something sacred. It was the first time they touched in years. A silent agreement passed between them. A chance, a beginning. ... Later that night, Emma rested while Michael sat beside her bed, refusing to leave even for a minute. The room was dim, the only light coming from the monitor softly beeping. Emma woke up again, her voice weaker. "Emma, can I ask something?" Michael leaned forward immediately. "Michael, anything, sweetheart." Emma hesitated. The word sweetheart hit her. It was unfamiliar, yet comforting. "Emma, when you left, did you ever think about me?" Michael breathed in shakily. "Michael, every day, every single day, but guilt makes a man run instead of fight." Emma blinked slowly. Her voice trembled. "Emma, I waited for you all my life." Michael held her hand tighter. "Michael, and I'm here now. I'm not letting go again. Ever." A nurse entered quietly, checking Emma's vitals. She smiled gently at Michael. "Nurse, she's improving. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Michael exhaled with relief. Emma gave him a small, almost invisible smile. After the nurse left, Emma whispered, "I don't want to get better alone. I want a father." Michael leaned his forehead against her hand. "Michael, you have one, and I'm not disappearing again, I promise." Emma's breath shook, this time not from pain, but from release. She looked at him with softened eyes. Emma, then stay tonight. Michael, I'll stay every night if that's what you want. Emma nodded, finally allowing herself to rest, a rest she had never known. Michael watched her, realizing that this was his last chance, and he wasn't going to waste it. A father, a daughter. Two broken hearts, finally stitching back together. Lily walked slowly into Michael's house, her steps hesitant, almost nervous. The moment she crossed the doorway, a strange heaviness wrapped around her chest. This was supposed to be her home once, yet it felt like walking into a stranger's life. Michael kept a respectful distance behind her, afraid she might walk out again. The house smelled faintly of old wood and warm coffee, a smell that had once belonged to her childhood, though she didn't remember it. Lily's eyes scanned the living room. Everything looked tidy, almost carefully arranged, like someone had cleaned the place too many times, trying to fill an empty silence. Her gaze stopped on the walls. Family pictures hung there, birthdays, holidays, family trips. But every frame had the same painful thing in common. Not a single picture included her. Lily felt something twist inside her. Figures. She whispered under her breath, her voice tight. Michael froze. He knew what she had just noticed. He took a trembling breath and spoke carefully. Lily, your pictures were never taken down. They were never lost. He pointed toward a wooden cabinet in the corner. Lily walked toward it, opened the door, and inside were dozens of photos, all of her. Her first birthday, her first steps, a scribbled drawing she made as a toddler, even her baby shoes. Her hand trembled as she touched them. Why? Why are these hidden away? She asked, her voice cracking slightly. Michael swallowed hard, because looking at them was painful. But throwing them away would have been like losing you twice. Lily didn't answer. She just stood there silently, holding the tiny shoes that once fit her feet. Michael led Lily to the dining table, where he had placed old files, envelopes, and documents. The stack was thick, outdated, and worn at the edges, like something handled too many times by a desperate man. This, Michael said softly, is everything from the day you disappeared. Lily sat down slowly. Her palms felt sweaty. Her heart thumped painfully in her chest. She opened the first file and froze. Her missing child report, her toddler picture attached with a paperclip. Police signatures, dates, multiple stamp marks showing follow-up checks. Her throat tightened. The next file held emails, printed messages, and mailed letters. Requests to orphanages, hospitals, shelters, schools. Every page carried the same message. Have you seen my daughter, Lily? A tear slipped down her cheek before she noticed. She quickly wiped it away, refusing to let Michael see her break. You really searched for me? She asked quietly. Michael nodded with a pained smile. Every day, every year, even when they told me to stop, even when they said there was no hope left. Lily kept reading until she found a small envelope. It contained a picture of her at age 2, holding a teddy bear, smiling so brightly her eyes sparkled. Where did this come from? Lily whispered. Michael's voice grew tight. Your mother left it behind, the night she took you. Lily felt her breath stop. My mother took me? On purpose? Michael hesitated, then nodded. Lily leaned back in her chair, completely overwhelmed. Her entire understanding of her past was shattering. Tell me everything, Lily demanded, her voice trembling. Michael took a deep breath, rubbing his hands together nervously. Your mother, Emma, was struggling, he began. She had her own demons, her own fears. We were young and made mistakes we didn't understand. Lily listened silently, her jaw tight. One night, after a terrible argument, Emma said she needed to take you to her sister's place for a few days. I didn't think she meant leaving completely. Michael's eyes darkened with pain. When I returned from work the next day, both of you were gone. No forwarding address, no message, nothing. Lily gripped the edge of the table, knuckles turning white. So she took me away from you, just like that? Michael nodded. I filed a report within an hour. Police searched for months, but Emma kept changing cities, moving before anyone could reach her. Lily felt tears welling again. So I grew up, thinking you never cared, she whispered. All this time, I hated the wrong person. Michael shook his head quickly. No, Lily, don't hate her. She had her reasons, twisted, painful reasons. But I know she loved you. Lily stood abruptly, fighting the breaking feeling inside her. I need air, she whispered. She stepped outside into the cold evening breeze, hugging her arms around herself. Michael watched her from the doorway, helpless, knowing she was falling apart, and he couldn't catch her. Lily stared at the neighborhood. Kids riding bikes, parents calling them home, porch lights glowing warm and soft. It felt like she was watching the life she could have had. Michael approached carefully, stopping several feet behind her. I know this is too much, he said quietly, and I'm sorry for all the pain you're feeling right now. Lily didn't turn around. Why didn't you find me sooner? She whispered. Her voice wasn't angry. It was wounded. Michael exhaled shakily. I tried, Lily. I tried until I had nothing left. I sold things. I traveled. I begged agencies to reopen the case. But every time I got close, she disappeared again. Lily felt tears rising once more. So you just gave up? Michael stepped closer. No, never. I paused sometimes. I broke down sometimes. But give up? Not once. Lily finally turned to look at him. Her eyes were filled with hurt and confusion. But also something else. Something human. Something soft. Why didn't you start a new family? She asked. You had a whole life ahead of you. Michael smiled sadly. How could I start a new family when half of mine was missing? Lily's breath hitched. For the first time, she saw not just a man, but a father who had lived with grief every day. That night, Michael cooked dinner, a simple meal, but carefully prepared. Lily sat at the table, arms folded, expression unsure. But she was there. She stayed. And that meant more to Michael than she knew. When he placed the plate in front of her, he said gently, I don't know what you like anymore, but I hope this reminds you of something warm. Lily took a bite. It was good, really good. How did you learn to cook like this? She asked carefully. Michael chuckled softly. When you live alone long enough, the kitchen becomes your best friend. Lily's lips curved slightly, the smallest hint of a smile. After dinner, Michael brought out a small wooden box. I've been waiting years to give this back to you. Lily opened it, and her breath caught. Inside was a tiny bracelet, pink beads, a small silver heart, her name engraved. Lily, her childhood bracelet. You kept this all this time? She whispered. Michael nodded, his voice cracking. It was the one piece of you I could hold on to. Everything else was memories. Lily felt a tear slip down her cheek, but she didn't wipe it away this time. For the first time, her heart softened toward him, just a little. The rain tapped softly against the hospital window as Michael stood alone, staring out into the blurred night. His hands were trembling slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of years he could never take back. Just last night, when he had finally held Lily's small, fragile hand, something inside him cracked open. A father's guilt, a father's longing, a father's love that had been buried but never dead. The door opened quietly behind him. Emma stepped in. She looked exhausted, not just physically, but from carrying the burden of raising a child alone, and from carrying the memories of a man who had walked away. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "Emma, Michael, I still don't know if you deserve to be in her life." Her voice wasn't angry. It was tired, protective, and full of scars he had caused. Michael lowered his eyes. "Michael, you're right. Maybe I don't deserve her. Maybe I never did." He swallowed hard. But she deserves to know that her father didn't disappear forever. For the first time, Emma's expression softened. Just a flicker, a small crack in the wall she had built. But it vanished quickly. "Emma, Lily will wake up soon. Don't give her hopes you can't keep." Michael stepped forward, his voice steady but emotional. "Michael, I won't promise her the world. I won't lie to her. I'll just be here, every day, if she lets me." Emma looked at him for a long moment, searching his face, looking for sincerity or weakness or another excuse. But this time, she saw something different, a father who had finally woken up. The morning light slipped through the hospital blinds as the machines beeped steadily beside Lily's bed. Emma, half asleep in the chair, suddenly heard a soft movement. Lily's fingers twitched. Her eyes opened slowly. A confused, weak whisper escaped her lips. "Lily, Mom? Where am I?" Emma rushed to her, tears immediately filling her eyes. "Emma, sweetheart, you're safe. You're in the hospital." Lily blinked, disoriented. Her gaze drifted toward the doorway, where Michael stood frozen. Afraid to breathe, Lily stared at him. A stranger, yet something familiar. "Lily, who is he?" Emma hesitated. Michael's heart pounded painfully. "Emma, Lily, this is your father." Lily blinked again, confused, trying to understand. Michael stepped forward slowly, voice trembling. "Michael, hi Lily. I'm sorry it took me so long to come." Lily didn't respond, but she didn't look away. And for Michael, that was a beginning. Later that afternoon, Lily was sitting up a little, holding a cup of warm soup. Michael sat in the corner, quietly, giving her space. But Lily suddenly turned to him. "Lily, why weren't you there when I was little?" The question felt like a knife. Emma looked down. She knew this moment would come. Michael took a slow breath. "Michael, because I made mistakes. Big ones. Ones I can't erase." He looked into Lily's eyes, gentle, honest. "But I'm here now, and if you'll let me, I want to learn how to be your dad." Lily looked at him quietly, not angry, not forgiving, just trying to understand a truth she never knew existed. "Lily, did you ever think about me?" Michael nodded, eyes watering. "Michael, every single day." Lily's lips trembled. For the first time, she believed him. Later that evening, Emma stepped outside the hospital to get some air. Michael followed her, stopping at a distance. She finally spoke, voice shaking. "Emma, do you know how hard it was, raising her alone, watching her cry on Father's Day?" Michael closed his eyes, guilt burning inside him. "Emma, do you know how many nights she asked me if other kids' dads loved them more?" He felt tears slipping down his face. "Michael, I can't undo the pain I caused, but I want to help now. You shouldn't have to carry this alone anymore." Emma wiped her eyes aggressively, trying not to break down. "Emma, I'm scared, Michael. I'm scared you'll walk away again, and Lily, she won't survive that." Michael stepped closer, voice steady. "Michael, I'm not leaving this time, I swear." Emma looked at him, and for the first time in years, she didn't see the man who left. She saw the father who was trying to return. The next day, Lily was sitting with her sketchbook, drawing quietly. Michael sat beside her, unsure if he should speak. Lily looked at him and held out a pencil, a silent invitation. Michael smiled softly and took it. They drew together, slow, awkward lines. But it wasn't about the picture. It was about the moment. Lily, can you come again tomorrow? Michael felt something inside him finally breathe again. Michael, I'll be here every day. I promise. Emma watched from the doorway, her heart heavy but hopeful. A broken family, taking its very first steps toward becoming whole. That afternoon, Lily rested quietly while Emma fixed her blanket. Out of nowhere, Lily whispered, "Lily, I remember. Someone used to sing to me." Emma froze. Michael looked up, surprised. Lily pressed her fingers to her forehead, trying to focus. "Lily, I was really little. I don't remember the face, but the humming." Michael's eyes widened. He knew exactly what she meant. "Michael, I used to hum to you when you were a baby. You would stop crying whenever I did it." Lily stared at him, a spark of memory flickering in her eyes, the fragment of a forgotten past finally returning. Later that evening, Lily was awake and stronger. Michael sat near her bed, giving her space, when Lily asked softly, "Lily, were you happy when I was born?" Emma's heart thudded. She feared this question. But Michael's answer came fast, clear. "Michael, Lily, the day you were born was the best moment of my life." Lily blinked, confused. Michael leaned forward. "I held you for hours. I counted your little fingers. I cried." He swallowed. "Leaving was the worst mistake I ever made. I won't lie, but loving you, that was never the mistake." Lily's eyes softened, something inside her shifting. For the first time, she wasn't looking at him like a stranger. Emma stood outside the room, arms crossed tightly, not in anger, but fear. Her daughter was softening. Her past was returning, and the man she once loved, the man who broke her, was slowly becoming a father again. Nurse Karen walked up beside her. "Nurse, he hasn't left her side." Emma nodded, voice low. "Emma, that's what scares me." Karen touched her shoulder. "Nurse, maybe this time he means it." Emma looked through the glass window, Michael helping Lily hold her cup. Tucking her pillow, smiling gently. A part of her still hurt, a part of her still believed. Both parts were fighting inside her. The next morning, Lily held a small gift box on her lap. Michael looked confused. "Lily, Mom said you kept this for years." Emma stepped forward, handing Michael the box. "Emma, you left it on the table the night you disappeared." Michael opened it. Inside was a tiny baby bracelet with Lily's name. He swallowed hard, tears burning his eyes. Lily touched the bracelet gently. "Lily, you kept this?" Michael nodded. "Michael, I couldn't throw away the only thing that reminded me of you." Lily didn't speak. She just leaned slightly toward him. A silent acceptance. A small step, but a real one. That afternoon, Lily fell asleep early. Emma and Michael stepped into the hallway to talk. Emma crossed her arms. "Emma, she's opening up to you, slowly, but Michael, if you ever leave again." He cut her off gently. "Michael, I won't. I'm not the same man who walked away." Emma studied his face, the tired eyes, the guilt, the determination. "Emma, Lily is all I have. Don't break her again." Michael nodded firmly. "Michael, I'll spend the rest of my life proving I won't." For the first time, Emma believed the promise, not because he said it, but because she could see it in his eyes. That night, Lily couldn't sleep. She kept turning, adjusting her pillow, staring at the window. Michael noticed and whispered, "Michael, do you want to talk?" Lily hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Lily, why did you leave?" The hardest question, the one he feared since the moment he walked back into her life. Michael took a deep breath. Michael, because I was young, stupid, afraid. I thought I wasn't good enough to be a father, so I ran. Lily watched his eyes. There was no excuse, only regret. Michael, but every day I missed you. Every birthday, every holiday, every quiet night. Lily's expression softened, but her voice was shaky. Lily, you hurt Mom. Michael lowered his head. Michael, yes, I did, and I'll never forgive myself for that. Lily looked at him for a long moment, then whispered, Lily, I don't know if I can trust you yet, but I want to try. Michael's heart almost broke from relief. Emma stepped in quietly, having heard the last line. Lily looked at her. Lily, Mom, I want to try. Emma froze, caught between joy and fear. Michael looked at Emma, not speaking, giving her the power to decide. Emma walked to Lily's bedside, brushed her hair, and whispered, Emma, okay, sweetheart, we'll try, together. For the first time in years, the three of them stood, not as a broken family, but as one trying to heal. Emma's eyes filled with tears. She tried to hide. She wasn't forgiving Michael yet, but she was learning to breathe again. Over the next few days, Lily improved noticeably. Michael helped her eat. Emma helped her walk. And Lily, for the first time, felt what it was like to have both parents beside her. One afternoon, Lily looked at Michael and said softly, Lily, can you hold my hand while I walk? Michael's eyes almost filled. He held her small hand, steady but gentle. They took slow steps down the hospital hall. Emma followed behind, watching, speechless. Nurses smiled. Doctors paused. It was a moment bigger than medicine. A broken father, a hurt mother, a forgotten daughter, walking together for the first time. The hospital finally allowed Lily to go home. Michael carried her backpack. Emma helped her into the wheelchair. While leaving, Lily said, Lily, Dad, will you stay with us? Emma stiffened, surprised. Michael looked at Emma for permission. Emma slowly nodded. Emma, he can stay, but we take things slow. Michael agreed immediately. When they stepped outside, Lily held both their hands, one on each side. For the first time in her life, she felt whole. A week later, Lily was sitting on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, watching the sunset. Michael sat beside her. Emma brought warm tea. Lily looked at both of them and said, Lily, I don't feel forgotten anymore. Michael bowed his head, overflowing with emotion. Emma touched Lily's cheek, and Lily whispered, Lily, let's start over as a family. Michael and Emma exchanged a silent, emotional glance. Broken years, painful memories, long distances, all slowly healing. The forgotten daughter was forgotten no more. The father got his last chance, and he didn't waste it. This was the beginning of a new life, a family reunited by pain, healed by love. If you want to watch more emotional stories like this, you will see a new video appearing right now on your screen. Just click on it to continue the journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Heartland Stories, for more heart-touching videos every day.